constructive exchange of views today and in the preceding years. If I may, I'd like to briefly comment on another equally relevant topic. The recent customs tariff decisions by the American president I believe to be wrong. I believe it constitutes an attack to a trade order which has created prosperity for the continent and the country, the world at large. The world economy will suffer as a consequence of these decisions, these hasty decisions, and consumers all over the world need a stable economy, in the United States too. So the American government set out on a path where at the end of the day we will have nothing but losers. The European Union has the strongest single market in the world. This gives us strength. We are ready to engage in talks with the American administration in order to ward off another trading war. The President of the Commission has been very clear in that regard. Germany and Europe continue to embody the concept of free trade. We aim for consultation and cooperation instead of confrontation. Europe will continue to respond in unity and with determination. Thank you. Chancellor, you briefly commented on the custom tariffs of the American administration. You expressed the hope that one would have a chance to engage with the government of the United States, but the increases in tariffs are even bigger than we feared. The European Union said that they would take countermeasures. It is necessary for the European Union to respond in unity and to respond in a way that it is outspoken enough to drive the message home, so to speak. We are, after all, the biggest single market in the world. And we have every means at our disposal to respond in unity, cohesion, and with determination, sending the message to the American administration that we have a toolbox and we will make use of the tools in our toolbox. But at the same time, it would be important that in acting as we will, we lay the basis for a possible negotiated solution. This should be taken for granted. Even if Europe were not to respond, it would lead to difficulties in the United States. It would lead to a rise in the import prices on American consumers, and that would be a problem for them. Industrial production in the United States will be hindered, will be made more difficult as a consequence of the decisions taken by President Trump. And of course, that will trigger difficulties. All of this are economic standard knowledge, you can read it in the respective papers, and experiences we have gained over the years with trade conflicts have equally underlined that this is what is going to happen. But it will not go away out of itself or on itself. So one has to engage, one has to show muscle. But in doing so, we also want to convey our readiness to engage in discussions, negotiations, because we believe that to be the best outcome for Europe and also for the world at large. We've come to see it with regard to many products, really. There seem to be so many supply chains that things are being transported back and forth 100 times across the borders for some products. And of course, that cannot be changed overnight. That will trigger enormous economic difficulties. Some things will not be produced in a proper fashion. And therefore, I believe this to be a serious economic mistake that will damage the United States without anybody doing anything. But as I said, the European Union will respond, but it will do so in a prudent manner and in a wise manner. That is what we stand for. We want to go back to the times where it will be possible to